Bring in a special guest to try to give us some perspective of what happens on movie sets, because I have no idea, never been there. Joining us from New York, film director with Rosso Films International, who is currently filming a World War II movie called Subject A. Laura Pellegrini is with us. Laura, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let me begin first with this word that has been tossed around a lot that creates a lot of confusion: prop gun. What is a prop gun? What does that mean when someone says it was a prop gun?
Well, I think the deceptive thing about the term prop gun is that it actually isn't a prop. There are real guns that are used on movie sets. And Stefano DeFrey, my filmmaking partner, we've done a ton of films, worked on a bunch of movie sets where we have used prop guns on set. And basically, in order to ensure the safest conditions, you need to have licensed armors on set who are tightly managing those
licensed.
prop guns.
Wait. Go a little slower here. Licensed what?
Sure.
What'd you call them?
Licensed armorers. Typically in film, we call them weapons masters, and they're specifically in charge of regulating prop guns on set, because any random person who would take control of a gun wouldn't know what to do. So they have to take them through the protocol of how to do it safely, so that when you fire a blank, for instance, you don't shoot someone at close range and potentially either injure them really badly or kill them.
I want to put up on the screen something from an LA Times article which grabbed a lot of attention here. And it says a live single round was accidentally fired on set by the principal actor, hitting both the director of photography, Local 600 member Helena Hutchins, and director Joel Souza. Both were rushed to the hospital, said an email sent to members of Local 44, a North Hollywood-based chapter of the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. A source close to the union told the Times that it does not know what projectile was in the gun. The source also clarified that live, in reference to a live single round, is an industry term that refers to a gun being loaded with some material such as a blank ready for filming. What's your understanding? What are the terms that are used, and have you on your sets ever used that term, live single round?
Well, we have, but the interesting question that's brought up is what materials could be in the gun. Chances are that this gun was loaded with blanks, which doesn't have bullets in it. Let me make that clear. There are maybe dummy bullets that they replace with actual bullets, but it can still be dangerous even if you have a blank, because they involve gunpowder. And there's a cartridge with paper wadding and wax, which is meant to provide kind of a realistic looking flame and spark when someone shoots the gun, because you want to produce the most quote unquote realistic effect. But there again, if not handled properly, and if not taught how to handle it properly, it can burn someone's hand. And that's where safety coordinators, that's where their job is super important, where they do need to step in and intervene.
Okay, let's get to some of the facts here now. There's in a warrant that was filed and being reported on tonight, talked about that the assistant director allegedly handed the gun to Alec Baldwin, saying it's a cold gun. What does that mean? And what would be the expectation of someone being handed a gun that's a cold gun, and why would the assistant director be handing that to the actor?
So if he said that it was a cold gun, chances are it either happened, let's say a couple hours beforehand, or wasn't tested in an open range to make sure that A, it works, and that B, it doesn't hit anyone. Whereas if it was a hot gun, that would have meant that it had been tested, and that they'd have to not use it right away.
Wait. Okay, this I'm trying to understand now. So there's a term that is used on the set, hot gun, cold gun, and it doesn't have to do with what's inside the gun. It has to do with the testing that is done on the gun?
Correct.
So what does cold mean?
Cold means that it hasn't been used.
So would you perceive a cold gun as being more or less dangerous than a hot gun? I'm still not 100% clear here.
Well, if it's a cold gun, like I said, chances are it hasn't been tested in an open range. So the thing is, if anything, you'd want to test it, right? Which would then make it a hot gun, and then you see, oh, okay, we tested it. It's okay. All lanes are clear for us to use this, right?
So on the movie sets you've been on,
yeah,
what I'm getting from you right now, because this is important. all these terms are brand new to everyone that's listening tonight, except the actors and people who've worked on movies. Cold means untested. I don't know what's in that gun. Hot means they tested it on the open range and we cleared that it's safe to be used. Those terms have nothing to do with whether or not it's loaded with blanks or completely empty.
Not necessarily, no.
Is there any chance that these terms can be used differently on different sets and might mean different things to different people? That's a problem. That's a huge problem.
That is a problem because then you don't create a unanimous understanding of what that means, right? So then you have sets that are operating according to their own quote-unquote protocol, where there's no kind of blanket protocol for every set to abide by. And yes, that does become a problem, naturally.
Let me ask you about the assistant director being the one handing the weapon. Now, there's another whole story and narrative of what was going on in that set involving unions walking out, et cetera. We're not getting into that tonight.
Sure.
But shouldn't this weapons master be the person who is handing the weapon to the actor? Why should there really be a middle person who is making these decisions on, here, take this gun, it's cold?
It really, to your credit, it should be delegated to someone who is in charge of the prop mastery. And in this case, because there's a weapons master to assist with that, because you're dealing with a gun, then yes, it should have been delegated that way. Because an assistant director should be, keeping tabs of everyone on set, making sure that, the director is reaching his or her day, things like that, not dealing with a gun, not dealing with a gun prop on set.
All right. Before I leave, from your perspective, you heard this story, you heard what happened.
Yes.
What was your reaction, your thoughts, because you've actually done movies with prop guns?
Right.
What's your takeaway here? What went wrong?
My immediate reaction, and Stefano, my business partner and film partner, our immediate reaction was, of course, one of complete shock and poignancy. Also, too, because this isn't the first time that this has happened. We're sitting here thinking about our own values as filmmakers and what we do to make our environments on our sets really, really safe. So when you don't see that necessarily reflected in another set that perhaps has a higher budget, then it calls into question the safety protocols that now need to move forward to make sets 100% priority safe under any condition, no matter the type of film that you're doing, but especially if you're dealing with a film of this nature.
Laura Pellegrini, I know you're in the midst of shooting a movie, so we really appreciate your time tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, folks, there's an investigation taking place. Here's what the